want to talk next about some other parts of escrow deposits, why it's important. Now, when in a competitive market and there's high demand and low supply, you've got to be more willing to put up a higher deposit because it makes your offer look stronger. And sometimes even making your deposit non-refundable should you not perform per the terms of the contract. In a colder market, you can make a lower escrow deposit. So you can see anywhere, there's times where people ask us, hey, what's the standard? And there really isn't one. They can range anywhere from a few $100 to 10, 20, 30+% of the purchase price. It all depends. It depends on how competitive the situation is for that particular property. It depends on how competitive the market is and the terms of the market at that time. But the market dynamics, whether it's a buyer's market, whether it's a seller's market, the value of the property, regional variations. You'll see in some areas of the country where escrow deposits are less and some where they're more. Another one that's common is new home construction. Builders require a lot of times very high earnest money deposits. And a lot of times the builders have the ability to use the earnest money for construction rather than holding it in an escrow account, are much less likely to give it back to you should you not perform per the terms of the contract. So hopefully that helps explain what happens with earnest money. Earnest money is also something that's a real common scam. There are people that will hack title company and real estate agents' email accounts or mimic them to try and convince you, they'll get your email, know you're under contract on a house, and then try and mimic an email to you to give you wiring instructions, so that they can basically steal your escrow money or they can steal deposit. So really important when it comes to escrow deposit is to verbally confirm that. If someone emails you or texts you, and maybe you think it's a real estate agent, maybe you think that it is, or maybe you think it's a title agent. Real estate agents typically aren't the ones sending the escrow information. It's usually going to come from title agents or title attorney's office. If you get an email or a text with earnest money deposit wiring instructions, call the title company and verify that. Please make sure you do not just blindly send. There are, so many scams that happen and millions of dollars that get stolen from real estate consumers every year because consumers get spoofed into sending the false wiring instruction. Hopefully that's helpful for you and it helps you avoid chaos in the future. So a lot of people asking me like, hey, what do you expect to happen with the real estate market now that Trump is the president-elect? Well, first and foremost, he's not in office yet. As far as any kind of short-term impact, there's certainly more of an energy out right now where people are excited. I do think that it has moved the needle in more than one way. One, because Florida was 57%, I think, President Trump. So he had a pretty wide margin of victory. So our state is looking a lot more like Trump supporters than non-Trump supporters. Second reason why I would say is just the fact that the election is over. Even if someone was a Harris supporter, Trump's numbers on the economy were really high. Even Harris supporters are now relieved that the election is over so they can make appropriate choices. So I do believe 2025 for Tampa Bay and nationally will be a better real estate year. I think in Tampa Bay, we have a few things working in our favor. Number one, obviously the election is over. Number two, we've had two historically low sales months in September and October because the storms. Homes that pushed, homes that canceled, storms, homes that were destroyed. So the fact that we had those 2 months, it pulled down the entire year because of how bad those months were. And it knocked a lot of buyers off the fence, knocked a lot of sellers off the fence. A lot of that will clear itself out. Going back to Cat 4 storms in history, 6 months post the storm, sales are right back up again. Most people are predicting for our market, we're going to have a little bit of a slow period for a few months. And then enough of those homes start to get rebuilt. Enough people start to come back to the area. You get enough of the destruction, gutted houses that are sitting in the dirt. You get enough of that cleaned up. Because we've always sold Florida as paradise, right? You're coming down here. We've got this beautiful climate. It's warm year round and we don't snow. And all those things are reasons why a certain percentage of the country wants to live here. All of those things contribute to a return of population growth and a return of real estate supply and demand. At the same time, we have a pro-real estate president who's a real estate developer, former real estate broker. He's a real estate guy. I believe he's going to pass policies and move regulation or deregulation in the favor of helping the real estate market. And last but not least, an economy that appears to be heading in a direction with lower interest rates, which causes more buyers to come off the fence and more sellers to sell their homes where they have low interest rates. so they can buy a home with low interest rates. A lot of people don't want to give up their homes and are staying put because they got a low interest rate. As interest rates drop, some of that demand comes back. So all of those are reasons why I'm really optimistic about the real estate market in 2025. I think smart money right now is looking at acquiring assets and buying more real estate so that they can benefit in 2025. I do believe 2025 will be a really, really healthy real estate market. And my hope and expectation is that rates drop throughout the year and hopefully we get back on track with a more reasonable interest rate. Do I think we're going to see 2 percentage points again? Probably not for a really long time, but if we can get it down into 4s and 5s, I think it'll really launch our market and Tampa Bay will see a really strong 2025. So that's my hope, that's my belief, and that's my expectation about what I expect to happen in Tampa Bay real estate in 2025.